smash the like button, and subscribe. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Yo. Yeah, I'm 18, bro. What's up?
Do you support Trump?
Yeah, I support Trump, man.
If the election was held today, Harris versus Trump, who would you rather vote for?
Definitely Trump.
Okay, and what's your birth year again?
July 1st, '07.
And how old you are?
I'm 18. Finna be 19, though. Very
Okay.
soon.
Why do you support Trump?
Oh, support Trump. As an immigrant myself, immigrated under, like, my parents, though. He's just a great person from what I've seen coming from, I'm from Canada. So it's a liberal dominated country, and coming from that country, then coming down to America, where it's more split and divided, like you have both sides. I've learned, I've been around liberals and democratic people my whole life, and then now seeing a different party, which are conservatives and all that. I kind of feel like I just more partly side with them, just like hearing what they believe and everything. And then Trump being a conservative himself, I feel like I just, I mess with him more because
Okay.
of what he is and what he believes.
Yeah. Can you tell me like what policies you like of Trump?
No, to be honest, I don't really know much. All I've heard and what I've seen, the biggest one that I've seen though, and the biggest thing that I've heard, but of course, like, can't vote yet. I'll be honest. I still got a year before I'm a citizen. Still green card holder. But what I've heard at least is he's dropped taxes. Correct me if I'm wrong. Like from 39% to 37.5%. The federal tax cuts
for the
or
highest
something.
levels of income. Yeah.
Something like that.
Okay.
But
So
yeah, that's
so
what I've
you
heard.
want
Yeah,
tax cuts for the richest people in this country?
Me? Oh no. I feel like everybody deserves to be taxed. Everyone. I mean, that's just how it's
Well, that's
been
what Donald
forever,
Trump's
and
doing.
everyone should be.
He's increasing taxes on everyone, disproportionately negatively impacting lower and middle income individuals, and then he's decreasing taxes on rich and wealthy income individuals.
Why? I'm just wondering why.
Well, he probably believes in trickle down economics, or wants to help out his rich buddies. Those are probably the two good explanations for that.
Has he like said any of that? Because I haven't seen that.
I mean, I know this is a fact because of his tariff policy and because he's replacing income tax with tariffs, right? Levels of income tax with levels of tariffs.
So he's never said it.
Never said what?
He never said that he wants to cut taxes for his buddies or whatever.
Well, no, I'm assuming that's his motivation because there's no other good reason
Okay.
to want that other than trickle down economics or that.
Okay, all right. Well, yeah. I mean, it's all assumptions. At the end of the day, you don't truly know what's going up in his head. So you feel me?
It's based upon the evidence. I think that we can determine the motivations of actions and circumstances based upon evidence. Do you think we can ever determine the motivations of other individuals?
No, not really. Not
No.
unless you.
So
So
then you can't ever.
Them.
So then under your view, you can't ever demonstrate first degree murder in a court. You can't do that. It's impossible. Are you saying it's impossible to determine that someone committed first degree murder?
I mean, it depends. I mean, are they coming out?
Now it depends.
Are they coming out? Are they coming out and giving?
Wait, now it depends.
Yeah, are they coming out and telling you? That's what I've been saying.
Without them just saying it themselves, you can still determine it because of the evidence. You can determine their motivations based upon the evidence.
But most of the evidence is usually eyewitness with direct proof coming from them.
So
them admitting it, finding like past background information. What like background information do you have that he's directly stated that? You don't have none. It's all assumptions.
You could find that they had plans, right? And that could be evidence that they had motivations to do this. Does that make sense?
What plans?
If someone had plans to murder someone that they had written out, would you think that's motivation?
Okay, my fault. I thought we were talking. Okay, yeah, I got.
Would you think that would be motivation, even if they didn't say that they did it themselves? Would that be motivation?
But they made the plans. Yeah, they did it.
Bro, my appeal got not approved again for integrity and authenticity. What is going on with TikTok today, chat? Sorry, repeat what you just said.
Sorry. That's direct proof that they were the ones who directly did that. They're writing it down. They made the plan. They are that's them admitting to it. That's them giving a reason. That's the story behind it. There is no real story that he's doing this to support his rich buddies. There's no real direct evidence of him saying that. There's no plan of him saying, yeah, I'm gonna help out my rich buddies. But when someone commits a first degree murder, whatever, sorry. But that's direct proof of them admitting that they're going to do it, and there's a reason behind it with specific evidence behind it, right? That's what I'm like. Assumptions are different. You're assuming,
but I'm basing it on evidence.
Real proof of what he's really doing because you don't know him.
Yes, we do. We know his motivations. We know that he does things to benefit corporations over the people. That's why they're cutting the EPA.
Cutting the EPA?
Yeah, the Environmental Protection Agency by 40%.
I mean, what do they ever do? Never hear anything from them.
Yeah,
Never in
they
the
impose
news.
regulations that lead to more benefits for society as a whole, social benefits, because imposing the regulation limits corporations from engaging in actions that pollute our environment, that and negatively impact other people.
So what it sounds like is he's just cutting down on something that hasn't been doing good overall. Because I mean, we hear it almost every day: global warming, problems with corporations. You hear it all the time. So
Do
they're
you
not
believe
doing
in
their
climate
job then.
change?
Yeah, I believe in climate change. There's proof behind
Okay,
it,
so
bro.
then Trump doesn't. Trump says the climate's going to start cooling. Science just doesn't know it yet.
Hey, bro, I don't know why he keeps kind of alright. And maybe he's onto something. Who knows? But I don't know. I don't hear about what the EPA does. I hear maybe one thing a month, and it's nothing. It's like sometimes it's just them screwing up. And of course, people who mess up, that's in the news more than the good things. But you never really hear anything good coming out of them. So I mean,
Coming
maybe
out
the
of
cuts
what?
were
Sorry,
good.
the news, you mean?
Yeah, the news and all that. Yeah, I
We're
don't be
talking
hearing nothing
about we're talking
about it.
about science. We're talking about evidence.
Yeah, I don't be hearing nothing about them.
99% of
If
climate
if
scientists
they're doing
indicate
good things.
99% of climate scientists indicate that this is factual, like that the climate's increasing in temperature and that it's due to humans, right?
Yeah, but what is the EPA doing that's so good? We should be hearing about what
The
they do, but
EPA,
who
yeah,
hears
they
about
have
them?
EPA studies, right, that specifically demonstrate that there's going to be more benefits from imposing certain regulations, right, than there are costs from imposing the regulations. They do studies on this.
I mean, they could do studies, but like, don't mind me asking, but like, where's the money kind of going to then? If it's just studies, right? I mean,
Look
I'm a little
up
confused on where all this.
EPA.
How much are they getting? First of all, where's this money getting distributed to? If he's cutting it, but it's
Dude,
going to somewhere
the
else,
money is
right?
just to enforce the regulation.
Yeah, yeah. I think
Yeah.
we should cut it then. Why are we in? Why are we
You don't
spending
want to
that much
enforce
just to enforce
environmental
something?
Hey, dude, I'm sorry. You sound really stupid. You don't want to enforce environmental regulation.
Yo, why we need to pay so much to enforce it? Who are we paying to enforce it?
The
Can you
EPA,
educate me on
dumbass.
this?
Dude, this is why I
Yeah, can
don't
you
like.
educate me on this?
Yes, I got you.
Yeah,
So,
bet, bet,
the
bet.
EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, it was a system set up specifically to ensure that we have good environment. Without the EPA, your water, right, wouldn't be clean. Without the EPA, your air that you breathe would not be clean. And you want to know what happens? People develop illnesses when that doesn't happen, when they don't have regulations in place. Because corporations put stuff into the air. People put stuff into the air and pollute in manners in which become toxic to other individuals. Okay? So the reason why this is so important is because without this, people literally die. Like, literally die. Okay, I'm not joking. People literally develop chronic health conditions. Okay? So the EPA imposes regulations to limit people and corporations from engaging in behaviors in which will inevitably lead to toxic effects on other people, to a manner in which is going to lead to more costs imposed by not putting a regulation in place rather than putting the regulation in place. Because when you impose a regulation, it does impose costs on businesses and corporations and on people, but that cost is going to be less than the societal benefit, right, of this not happening in the very first place, and the negative impacts that would impose on our society.
All right. And how come they need how much money do they get? How much are
It's
they
not.
getting?
Let me look. It's not that much.
Yeah, bet. And
EPA
once you find it,
budget by year. I got you. Sorry, what did you say?
I was gonna ask, why do they need the money then? I mean, sure, you're paying
It was
what are they, government workers
$12 billion in
for
2024.
12 billion?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That seems like a bit much just to enforce rules. I mean, they're not going out. I mean, they're not directly cleaning. They're just kind of they're
They said that's a
withholding.
lot of money to enforce rules.
They're giving
Hey, do you know what our
rules.
governmental budget is? It's trillions of dollars, dude.
Yeah, go into
Several
defense,
trillions
bro.
of dollars. So explain to me
Stick it
how,
all in the defense.
dude, the amount that they make is a lot more than 12 billion for the population. This is so just think about it this way. When we put money into this, the economy becomes more efficient, more effective. There are more social benefits in our society due to the fact that we impose these regulations. So this money that we're spending is an investment. Okay? Would you get mad at someone if they put money into an investment If they put, say, $12 into something and it made them 120 bucks,
So put in $12 and
they
make
make
120.
120 out of it. Yeah.
Oh no no no,
Would you tell
that's
them they're
tough.
dumb?
I'll
But
mess
that's
with
what we're
that.
doing with the EPA.
But how does the EPA do that when they aren't they what are they
Because
fixing?
I already explained this to you. When you impose the
No, I
regulation, it
understand. Yeah.
limits people and corporations from engaging in behaviors, which will lead to more negative impacts in terms of people's health and society.
Yeah, so they're withstanding, they're not fixing. Like there's nothing being fixed. They're just keeping it
What are you
how it
talking
is and
about?
limiting.
What are you talking about?
You explained it to me. They're putting these rules in place that keeps the air clean and everything, keeps it. So what are they improving? They're not improving anything. They're keeping it the same. It's just getting worse actually when you think about it. Global warming, like you've been saying, or like you said, they're not actually fixing anything or even holding things the way they're supposed to be because there's still global warming, right? I mean, you can't just stop that either. I'm not going to say they can just
Dude, the
stop it. You
EPA
can't.
isn't just trying to prevent climate change. The EPA is
I
also
know, but
trying
they're
to
not
prevent
fixing
negative
it.
impacts in terms of people's health. That's what I was explaining to you. Climate change is another thing that the EPA can do as well, right? And can address as well, and something that is brought up to be a part of the EPA, right, through our address, because through Democrats' address, because of the fact that we believe in climate change, and 99% of climate scientists do as well.
So where does all the money go? Because it sounds like they're not using it right. If
To
they ain't fixing nothing.
enforcing these environmental laws.
And that's what confuses me. Are they paying people, paying these corporations to
No,
follow
they're
rules?
paying regulators, right, to specifically engage in finding the going through, like, say they fine through a law. They enforce those fines.
So they're making money through fines.
Yes.
So it sounds like they got enough money.
Are you trolling me? Are you rage baiting me right now?
No,
Like, I
I'm
actually,
being
like, I
serious.
can't fathom someone asking these questions. Like, actually, dude, are you serious?
No, I'm just trying to understand.
Like, how do I be nice to people like this, dude? I genuinely don't know.
I don't know. Same way I'm being chill with you. I don't know.
Well, like, I'm
See,
not saying such
I
ridiculous
don't.
stuff that you are, dude.
You don't.
Like,
Hey, look, the way I see you don't understand me. I don't understand you, but I'm not being rude. I'm being chill, laid back. I'm just trying to understand. See, I think about it one way. You think about it the other way.
but the
So
issue here
like,
is I do
yeah, what's
understand
up?
what I'm talking about, and you don't, is the issue.
What do you?
Even when
I
I
do
explain
understand what
it.
I'm talking
I
about.
explained it to you, though.
Yeah, and I understand what you're saying, but like I feel I don't know, something off, feels weird.
Okay,
See,
what
I
feels weird?
understand your point. I understand your point, but you know, I don't know. How do I explain this to you, man? They getting money. They're still getting billions of dollars. Getting fine money, and yet they're getting a cut because it sounds like they aren't doing their job from what I see on my day-to-day basis. They're imposing and paying corporations to keep things the way they are, which is fine, but in reality they're not
They're not
fixing
paying.
it
When
and
did they
it's
pay
getting
corporations?
worse.
What are you talking about?
That's what I asked you
You
about
think the
earlier.
EPA
And
is paying
that's what I asked you
corporations?
about earlier. Yeah, that's what I asked you about earlier.
Yeah, and that makes no sense. I said that was
I know that's what I
laughable.
asked you. Yeah, you. That's what I asked you earlier. But I don't even know what you're talking. You just talked about scientists, and I don't know. See, that's what confused me because like you didn't
I
even
was
answer it.
explaining that 99% of climate scientists indicate that climate change is caused by humans and is increasing global temperatures. That's the fact. That's what I explained.
Yeah, so they're not doing their job.
What do you mean? That doesn't mean that they're not
Doesn't
doing their
that prove?
job.
Doesn't that prove they're not doing their job? Then,
Nope.
like, I'm confused. I'm
No.
genuinely confused.
No, it doesn't. Because again, the EPA specifically, right, is the one that is addressing broader environmental concerns, not just climate change. Climate change is something addressed specifically when Democrats come into office. When Democrats come into office, we try to address climate change. We can't fully address climate change when people like Trump get into office, don't believe in climate change, and roll back all the revisions that we put in place specifically to address it in the very first place.
So the EPA doesn't do climate change.
The EPA does do climate change when Democrats were in office. I just explained it to you multiple times.
So we haven't been doing nothing with climate change or any of that in the past what, like 3 years, 2 3 years?
We were under Biden's administration.
No, but
This is
like under
purposeful rage
Trump.
bait at this point. Like, I
No,
can
I'm being
tell that
serious. No, I'm
you're
being serious. Under Trump though,
I
it's
can
been
tell
like
you're
2 or 3 years,
purposely saying
right?
things I've already explained.
I'm really not, but okay. Under 2 or 3 years, right? Under Trump, right? So that means there wasn't any climate change stuff involved.
You
So
said
that
what?
like, so you were saying under the Republicans, right? There's like they roll back against the climate change stuff, right? Like they just degress, they don't regress like Democrats with that. So I'm just trying to I'm wondering how come my water isn't dirty, my food isn't bad, I'm not dying on the street from the air I breathe when Republicans have been in office for how long now? Like 2 or 3 years?
What state do you live in?
Nothing's changed. I'm in Kentucky.
Okay. So there's a few things. It can depend on local areas. It can depend upon regulations that have been
Yeah.
in place that they can't get rid of. So it's just about a limitation of them enforcing the regulations that do exist. And also, just because you've survived and you haven't had negative impacts in terms of your area doesn't mean that there aren't negative impacts around the rest of the country,
I
right?
feel
And
like
I
my
also
my
didn't say that
impact
they
would be bad though.
100% got rid of the EPA. I said that they reduced the level of funding.
So they're reducing it, so that means they're doing good. There's more money to be distributed. It sounds like
Not
from what
towards being
what
able
I'm
to enforce the regulations in terms of the environment that are then inevitably going to create better effects on the economy in general. So you understand that the water in plenty of aspects around the United States has gotten worse because of Trump, and it got better under Biden because of his bipartisan infrastructure bill, because of the Inflation Reduction Act, right? So again, if you actually want to address this, right, that means that you should support democratic regulations on this, not what Donald Trump's doing.
okay, so what I'm hearing then is the cuts are fine because like under the Republicans, either way, they go back and they degress on it, and
That
they're
makes
just
no
cutting it
sense.
down. No, no,
So
because
you said you said
that's
it
what I'm
you said
hearing. Yeah,
cutting it
what's
is
up?
good because they cut it. That makes no sense. It's an
Yeah,
argument.
no, no, they cut it because that money goes somewhere else that's actually useful. Because like what you've been saying and what I understand is the Republicans already degress on it. So then what's the
So
point in
where is it going
investing
that's
in it?
useful?
So uh, let's stick it in defense.
Yeah,
Stick it
that's not
somewhere
useful.
else.
Okay, so
How
one,
wait? How come?
two as it relates to this, they added more to the debt because of Trump being in office. So when you say it's used for other places, that's clearly not what's happening here. And also,
So
this is
where
very
should it go?
so again, we have less social benefits in terms of our economy, so it's inevitably going to produce less overall tax revenue because of the fact that we're going to have a smaller economy.
So wait, where should it go? So 40% of what was it? 12
Towards
billion
regulating the
dollars?
environment.
Yeah. So just put it back in the EPA.
Yeah, so putting it into the EPA inevitably leads to our economy overall having more money. If I need to explain this to you one more time, I'm just gonna kick you. Like genuinely, at this point, right? It's either you're purposefully rage baiting me or you genuinely can't engage in this conversation. Like you actually like are not mentally able to do that. And if you can't do that, I'm
Oh,
not gonna waste my time.
no, no, no. I understand. I never wanted you to explain it again.
Yeah, I've
And
already
we're
explained
yeah,
that
what's up?
7 times, and you kept asking the same question about it, acting like I haven't explained this information already. So if you have me explain it to you one more time, I will absolutely kick you because you're just trying to either rage bait me or you actually literally are not intellectually able to engage in this conversation.
Yeah, that's tough. But what I'm where should the money go? If it's being cut from the EPA, right? Then where should it go instead?
That's the
That's what
question I
I'm
asked
wondering.
you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I said defense, but where do you think it should go? Like other than the
To the
EPA, because you can't
EPA.
really. I know, but that's been cut, so it can't go back into it. So where should it? Where do you think it should go if it can't go in the EPA? You know?
This is obvious rage bait. Okay, I'm just gonna kick you.
But how? I asked.